Alright, if you remember on the way to High Hrothgar to meet the Greybeards way back when, we stopped and killed this Hagraven, you know, the one that was shooting the nuclear fireballs at us, to grab the Nettlebane. Apparently this is the only knife able to cut through the bark of the Eldergleam to get some sap, which we need to save the tree here in Whiterun. I guess that's what it boils down to. I guess this tree is a sapling, or a little sprig from the original tree.
Filthy Hagravens yet? Oh, I honestly didn't expect you to come back. Of course, I'm glad you did. Now, I don't really want to touch that thing, though. Do you think you could handle the next steps? Eldergleam Sanctuary Grove is to the east of here. You can use Nettlebane to retrieve some of its sap.
Was I correct in hearing that you were traveling to the Grove of the Eldergleam? I am a traveler, a pilgrim. I follow the voice of Kinnereth wherever it can be heard. I've dreamed of seeing Eldergleam for years. Might I travel alongside you? I promise not to get in the way. I thank you for your kindness.
Sure, you can come along. If Dragon attacks, he might attack you first. Sorry. Alright, so I don't think that dude is here early on. I think he only spawns once you come back with the knife or something. Anyway, he's welcome to come along. Alright, so clarify this for me. I could probably go wiki this, you know, go Google it and get an idea, but I'll ask you guys. Let you guys mull this out. Is the divines, okay? Specifically Kyne and Kinnereth. We were there in the Temple of Kinnereth. I believe that's what that was. Alright, and this tree is a symbol of Kinnereth's blessing or something, or earthly representation of it or something like that. Anyway, and I guess the tree is an offspring, a branch, sapling, whatever, a seed of the mother tree, and so pilgrims can come and use that as a physical embodiment to acknowledge Kinnereth or whatever. But when it comes to Kyne and Kinnereth, is that one and the same? All right, they seem to be linked if they're not the same thing, or one is a representation of the other, or something, or a concept of the other. Sometimes I wonder if it's not the whole Mother Mary thing, like from Catholic doctrine, like a vague reference to that, because they seem to be referred to one and the same, I think, right? But if you go, like, when you talk to Froki, when he talks about doing the trials of Kyne in this, he refers to Kinnereth as just some idol in a temple where people worship it, have no idea what they're doing. And he considers that like sacrilege or something, so I don't know. But from the gist of it, I guess Kyne would be the embodiment of life. Kinnereth would be the, I don't know, manifestation of that amongst men or something. Look at some of the other divines. You have Arcades, the god of the dead. Not death in and of itself. I think that honestly would be more like Sithis, who's not mentioned among the divines, although his role is just as important as life, as far as that goes. He appears to be the absence of it. All life, all compassion, he's the absence of anything that would be necessary to sustain or be concerned about or preserve life. He'd be the opposite, not just the taking of it, but the lack of it in the first place. And that being a life in and of itself, you know. And so I get that, and I don't think he would be really the embodiment of the devil per se, because like I say, he's more of a principle as far as that goes. I think the Daedra make up what you might refer to as a devil or an antagonist in any religious philosophy. And they would each have their own things. Like each Daedra has, you have lust, you have debauchery, you have secrets, whispers, lies, deceit, treachery, disease. Although, yeah, Peryite's considered a Daedra, right? So disease, I guess that would be the opposite of Kinnereth, would be Peryite, kinda. She would be the healing of life, and his would be the not necessarily the taking of it, but certainly making it more miserable. And then, I don't know, anyway. But, yeah, I'm totally lost in all that stuff for the most part. But the whole Kyne Kinnereth thing really has me stumped. I really don't get it. Alright, so apparently Uthgir thought it'd be a good idea to pick a fight with two giants at the same time. And she tanked him for a minute. She was definitely holding her own there for a minute. least enough time for me to soften them up with a mark and get out of the way. If I can just kite them around a little bit. There we go. Good deal. I know better to get with arm's reach of these guys. That's a trip to the moon right there. It's an immediate trip to the moon. You want to see outer space real quick? Pick a fight with a giant. And let him catch you not blocking. Yep. He's fixing to launch your ass into the air. Yeah, if no one has taken the giant spaceflight program, I strongly recommend it at least once. Make sure you save first, but yeah, go ahead and pick a fight and just stand there and take it. Let's see how high you go. It's pretty funny. I'm surprised this one isn't locked. Or did I pick this last time I was through here? No, because I hadn't discovered this place yet. No, never mind. Couldn't have. I know each giant camp will have a chest of some sort. At least an expert level, if not a master chest. I like boss chests. There's a dragon around here somewhere, too. In fact, we may go pick the fight with that dragon before we leave here. Might as well. I don't remember what shout he's guarding, but it's an actual dragon wall that he's sitting on. I know that. And should be another pretty good chest there, too. So first things first, we'll get in here and check out this big living tree. This sanctuary is one of my favorite places in the game. It really is cool the way they did it. The waterfalls and all that other stuff. We'll be there in a second. But,
There's a cave here. Perfect hideout for bandits, or worse.
for whatever reason, I think most of the time when I'm here, it's in the daytime. It'd be interesting to see how different it is at night inside. I hear a dragon. Y'all hear that? That's definitely a dragon in the background. Probably that one I'm talking about around the corner. We'll go find him in a little bit. Alright, so, well, he didn't get killed by the giants. I guess that's a good thing. And you need 10 more points to get up to that. Good deal. The whole stamina regen thing with light armor is really nice. So we got enough for that. Alright, so 20 more points and we'll be doing pretty good in the whole light armor. I don't worry too much about it above 80.
Don't see that everywhere.
But you get it to 80 and you can basically double your armor value. And get all your extra little perks and passives and stuff. Usually good to go. So with light armor, it's quicker stamina regen. And then with heavy armor, it's you don't get staggered as often. I think that's their main perk. That's the big one for that.
Hello there, friend. Come to enjoy the sights and sounds of this beautiful sanctuary?
And just look at this place.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Praise Kinnereth for allowing such beauty in the world. You are in Eldergleam Sanctuary. Just a small glimpse of what beauty Kinnereth has to offer. Wonderful place, isn't it? Yes, my friend. Though no one has been able to get close to her for as long as I can remember. As you can see, Eldergleam's roots are large and stretch far, blocking any path to her trunk. Though, believe it or not, there are rumors of a weapon that even Eldergleam herself would lift her roots for, more out of fear than respect. The rumors are true. I beg of you, don't harm the tree. Nothing good can come of it.
You know, there may be a lesson here, actually. Alright, so, I mean, why would you craft a knife to find some way to do harm to something that shouldn't be harmed. You know what I mean? I mean, like, what do you have to be thinking to go through the process of finding, creating, crafting, manufacturing, producing, and then wielding something that can hurt something that shouldn't be hurt, that hasn't hurt you, like she says, there's no good that can come from this. It's only bad. Like, what the hell is the point? And why do we, as a people, insist on doing this type of shit? I mean, this isn't just an overall lesson in life, just in a lot of things as mankind in general. If there's a way to mess it up, we will put our hand to it, and we will find a way to do it. We're real quick to tear something down. I mean, we're real quick to make shit as long as we can put our name on it, right? But stuff that we don't, that's above and beyond ourselves, oh, we're quick to break that shit down. I guess because it makes us insecure. It tells us that we're not all that. Maybe is that it? A little subconscious thing going on there? I don't know. So it doesn't really matter, but it's just it's just an observation. Something we do just as a whole. To each other, to other things. It's like mankind hasn't figured out how to actually create mankind. We've tried to clone what was already there. Bottom thing, we're not going to invent no shit like that. Another human being, you're not going to invent it. It's already been done. You're not going to surpass it. So instead we just kill it. Doesn't make sense.
You would violate this marvel of Kinnereth's glory to fix that half-breed stump in Whiterun? That's abominable. Barbaric. I'll have no part of this. Why didn't you tell me what you intended? Well, yes. There is something. It won't repair the tree back at the temple, but we could bring them a new one. Follow me. I think I can convince the tree to help us.
Hey, what if, this is just speculation, I don't know if the writers thought this far into it. I'm assuming they're bigger brains than mine is. Come up with something like this, but what if these roots are for the tree to protect itself from the original sapling which was taken, right? Which maybe shouldn't have been, to create the tourist attraction that's in Whiterun. You know, now big superstition and reverence is grown up around this tree in Whiterun, so maybe it's done good things for the whole Kinnereth thing. But the bottom line is,
Gildergreen has blessed us with a sapling. You should take it to Whiterun. Danica will want to see that the true blessings of nature lie in renewal, not a slavish maintenance.
well, there's an actual point there. But yeah, what if the original
I
sapling?
believe I'll stay here and bask in Eldergleen's warmth a bit longer. Good luck on your travels. May Kinnereth's wind carry only the sweetest scents.
Yeah, whatever. So what if the original sapling was taken and the tree established those roots guarding itself up that pathway, and so out of stubbornness, man figured out a way to make something that would threaten it and hurt the tree. Which, wow. Oh, Anyway. And y'all are like, okay, well, what difference does any of that make? None. None whatsoever. Doesn't matter. We got our little branch. We got our seed, our leaf here. We'll just go ahead and take it back and let Danica plant a new one. But there's something of a lesson to be learned there. Well, I don't know. No, I guess if mankind could learn that lesson, they'd have done that a long time ago. A lesson to be known. How's that? Not learned, but known. Lessons that are learned are, well, acted upon, right? We don't tend to do that. We just like to know shit and then kill everything anyway, right? So I can't blame these people here for hanging out here. This is a pretty cool spot. Get a place like this around in the 60s and you'd have a lot of hippies hanging around. The air would smell a little different though. Huh? Know what I'm saying? Alright. See if we can pick a fight with a dragon before we head back. Seems a shame to head all the way out here just for a branch. A twig. Actually, I think the shout on this little mountaintop here is one of the damaged ones. A lot of the shouts I have, let's see. I guess you could consider the Fus Roda, the unstoppable force one. I guess you could sort of consider that a damage shout, although I would consider it more of a tactical one. I mean, you could essentially throw someone off a cliff and they would die, so yeah, it's damage as far as that goes. But most of them, like Mark for Death, is it's a debuff, true enough, and I guess it does some small damage over time. It opens up enemies to a lot of damage, but in and of itself doesn't do a lot right off the top. But, you know, the basic ones like Fire, Firestorm, Ice, and all that kind of stuff, those are just straight up damage shouts. I haven't learned a lot of those. Don't use them much anyway. It's been my experience that even things like Ice Storm, stuff like that, like when you grab, say, you know, okay, so even if I don't use it as a magic spell, say a scroll of Ice Storm, you think, well, I'm going to save the scroll of Ice Storm for when I face a mob so I can do some damage. And you hit them with it, and their health, if it moves at all, it's barely, right? And you're like, wow, this didn't do shit. And I think it's debuffed for your character so much on Legendary, and your enemy's defenses are so high, and they take so little damage on Legendary that it makes a lot of those almost useless. That until you get the really high destruction spells and you're actually casting the spells themselves, you know, and you know, if you have 100 destruction skill and you're casting the highest level destruction spells and you have a huge pool of magicka and all that, then you've got it going on. But like a simple shout or a scroll or something like that, they don't seem to be near as effective on Legendary. It's just been my experience. But Mark for Death will allow you to tear down a dragon in about 5 seconds with iron swords. That's what I know. Yeah, we haven't changed it. So, there you have it. I'll just stick with that shout. That's always been my favorite and always will be. I can't wait to find the life. What's it called? Detect life? Aura of life? Life whisper? Something like that. Anyway, you can basically detect, I think you can even detect the undead. I believe they show up differently. And although there may be a separate spell or shout for that, detect undead. Maybe that's the case. It seems like they just show up. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, whatever. When you use the shout, it's the shout that I wish the sound would have been for marked for death, because it just sounds wicked. I mean, it sounds just like this evil curse or evil whisper, right? The one for aura, detect life, whatever it's called. I wish they'd have used that particular sound the way it's said. If I find it, I'll try to remember to use it, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. How it just sounds. It sounds so cool. Like you do this thing that's like a hiss or something. It's this hiss, whisper, snake-like. I don't know. It's really, really cool. I wish that would have been the marked for death shout. All right, so if I can find my way to the top of this, should be a shout up here. A master level chest and some other goodies. Ore veins, all that kind of stuff. They really gave us a little of everything in this game. Here we have the hot springs out here. Not exactly a desert, but, you know, still hot springs, barren, rocky, kind of wasteland type area. And of course you have the mountains, then you have the snow-capped mountains, the hills, then you have the plains all around Whiterun. And then you have, you know, forests, some woods, and I mean, you literally have just everything here. Coastal areas. Well, most of the coast here is really, really cold and dreary. I'm assuming that whether they place the next one in elsewhere or Alikir, from the sounds of it, they're both being kind of warm desert areas. Don't know if either of them has tropical regions. I think that would be more for like Black Marsh and stuff, I think, when you're talking about that type of thing. But I don't know. Maybe they'll have some of that, but I expect to have some sunny coastlines, and I can't wait to see what they can do next gen with coastlines and stuff. I remember really, really enjoying, whether it was day or night time, the waterfront in Imperial City and Anvil Anvil was probably my favorite city in Oblivion. No, I'm not gonna say favorite. In a certain way. I mean, it being oceanfront, you could almost smell the salt air when you're there. I mean, seriously, you could hear the ship bells ringing, and you know, the birds, seagulls flying around, and this and that. And go down to the coast, and you'd see you know, the sun on the water and stuff. And sure enough, it was last gen. The graphics may not have been all that, but the overall effect, the impact was there for me. I mean, I felt like I was at the beach. I felt like I was at this old wharf. Like, oh man, I don't know. Just took me to a different place. It really did. That game just did it. It just did it right. And, you know, same here. It's just one thing I would like to see in the next one is a bright, sunlit, you know, sunsets and sunrises and stuff like that on a really beautiful coastline. You know, the sun on the water, the bright sparkling beach, maybe some tropical style sunsets. See what they can do with that next gen, and throw all that in there and just add to the whole fantasy atmosphere there. I would like to see what they can do with it. I think it'd be pretty cool. They certainly do an amazing job with the whole ice and Arctic tundra feel, you know, in Skyrim. They definitely carry that across.
But I can't run the temple without the support of people who are inspired by the Gildergreen. How can this little tree bring new worshippers? You're right, of course. It can be hard to hear the winds of Kinneret when all you hear are the rabble in the temple. Death feeds new life. I'm sure that in time, this little sapling will grow into a new Gildergreen that will tower over Whiterun. Thank you.
Imagine that. A faith being able to carry itself without your help. If you're not maintaining it, then it can't prosper. Was that where your thinking was at? Oh, well, maybe this is a lesson for old Danica, too. Because she's certainly not going to make that thing grow. It's going to grow on its own, or it's not. So maybe it will preserve itself. Maybe her help is not required, as far as that goes. Alright, so lessons learned. Makes you wonder if there are, you know, divinities and truth to faith and stuff like that, that maybe sometimes prayers are answered just like that. Not directly, but indirectly. Maybe some lessons are learned along the ways, too. You never know. Alright, we'll see what kind of trouble we can get into next time, but for now, we saved the tree in Whiterun, and got to kill us a dragon. So I'm going to rifle through my inventory, maybe make a few potions, do a little training, and do some stuff, sell things, you know, the usual. Then we'll get back at it. Alright, thanks for watching, people, and I will go ahead and see what kind of trouble we can get into on the next one. Until then, if you want to subscribe, click that button up top, and if you want to catch the rest of this Let's Play up to this point, click that image in the middle. It should take you to the playlist. Y'all take care, bye-bye.